Hello everyone, I'm so excited you're here. My name is Manny Torres. I'm coming at you from Technique Tigers Baseball Academy. We're the longest tenured baseball academy in Fairfield County, and we're also the #1 skills development program in the state of Connecticut. During my first video in Technique Tigers Baseball Academy Coaching Insights, we talked about 4 key points when running a practice. First of all, #1, you must have a plan. You must come to practice with a plan, knowing exactly what you're going to do from A to Z, from the beginning of practice to the end. #2, you want that practice to be efficient. You want that practice to be efficient, fun, keep kids engaged. #3, you want to make sure that your athletes are able to execute the plan that you put in place for them. All right, and last but not least, #4, you want to be able to repeat and make that practice a routine throughout the season. Today, all right, I want to introduce you guys to our bread and butter drills that we use here at Technique Tigers of Baseball Academy, which allows us to put together efficient practice plans day in and day out. Welcome back, Manny Torres here with Technique Tigers Baseball Academy. The first 15 to 20 minutes in our practice routine, we try to get as much done in our throwing lines as possible. We break down our throwing lines into 3 progressions. All right. Right now in this video, we're going to show you progression 1. All right. In progression 1, we include 3 facets to progression 1. First, we work on transfers. Then we work on transfers on our knees. And when we're on our knees, we work on ground balls. And then at the end, we stand up and throw ground balls to each other. So first off, we want to have our athletes about 5 to 8 feet apart. Okay. Close distance. Okay. You want our guys to be in that good athletic position, working on their hands and working on their transfers. And the reason why we want to work on transfers and the reason why we start practice every single day like this is because we want the kids to get a high volume of catch in a short amount of time. So right here, every single play in baseball, okay, requires a transfer. When shortstops are flipping to the second baseman, it requires a transfer. When the ball's coming in from the outfield, it requires a transfer. When the catcher's receiving the ball, going to throw it on a second, requires a transfer. So early on in the practice, in progression 1, the first thing we do is try to get in our transfers and work on soft hands. So athletes are 5 to 8 feet apart, giving each other good feeds in a good athletic position with both hands up working together. Let's go, boys, move the ball. On your knees. Okay, and the reason why we get down on our knees is because our youth baseball players, sometimes they want to get away from the ball. This right here, they got nowhere to go. Okay, so we want to make sure that they're still, their knees are a little bit further than shoulder width apart, still working on their hands, giving each other good feeds. And this is only about 5 to 8 feet. Quick, boys, quick. Work on your soft hands, let's go. Ground balls. Let's go. Put your hands away from your belly. In progression 1, we also want to add ground balls. Okay. Here we want to make sure that the player has his hand away from his belly. Okay. And he's catching the ball at the peak of the triangle. Okay. The 2 knees being the base of the triangle, and obviously the glove being the peak of the triangle. And now players can see the ball in and gather it into a funnel. Let's go, move the ball quick, work on your hands. Quicker, doing good feet. And that's the 3 phases of progression 1 in our throwing program. Moving along in our throwing lines, we're moving along to progression number 2, where we have 3 phases. Okay, I'm gonna bring an athlete over here so you can demonstrate our 3 phases. Our first phase in progression 2 is separation. Here, the athlete wants to face his partner, get his throwing shoulder as far away from his opposite hip as possible, get his glove chin ball lined up in a good position, and feel that torque that he's going to create because he's separating his shoulder from his front hip. Here, we want our athlete to make sure that he has a strong front side and he's keeping that front side inside of his block as he moves forward, finishing with a flat back and bringing his chin and chest along with the baseball into his target. Moving along to phase 2 and part 2 of our progression in our throwing program, we're going to have our athlete face his target with the shoulder, hip, and ankle facing his partner. The ball starting out in the midsection of his body. Okay, we're going to yell out break. We're going to make sure our athlete has a strong front side and is close towards our target, has his elbow up in a good throwing position, and here he's going to work on stride length. Again, you want the athletes to make sure that they're utilizing their lower half of their body when they're throwing the baseball. So in phase 2 of progression number 2, we really want to focus on the kids understanding how to use the big part of their body in their lower half and making sure that their length, okay, is long, okay, they're getting out over their front side, they're keeping a good front side strong, they're getting out over their block, and again, releasing out front, driving that back shoulder into their target. Break, long step and go. Our third step in progression 2 in our throwing program. Now remember, the athletes need to be between 15 and 20 feet in this progression. Okay, we're going to work on movement, which means our athlete's going to be facing belly button to belly button to his target. Okay, we want to go left, right, break and go. As you can see, as he's moving, you want to make sure that the athlete is getting behind the baseball, getting that good front side going to his target. Once again, lining up shoulder, hip, and ankle, closed off to his target, working on his stride length, and putting it all together. Ready? Left, right, break, and go. Many times you hear at the youth level, coaches say, you know, step and throw. It's very hard to catch a ground ball or to catch a fly ball to go hit your cut and simply just stepping and throwing. So we want to teach our athletes that in order for them to make a good throw across the diamond over 100 feet, they have to have movement in their footwork and moving towards their target so they can create momentum. Now they can get momentum behind the ball. Left, right, break and go. Good job. Moving along in our throwing program in progression 3, obviously we want to get a little bit further distance. Here's where we're going to work between 45, 100, and 100 plus feet, okay? We have 2 phases in progression number 3. First, this athlete's going to be shoulder, hip, and ankle once again, facing his target, and we really want him to understand how to shuffle, get his momentum behind the baseball to create a good throw. Shuffle, and go. Once again, he has his shoulder, his hip, and his ankle facing to his target. He's really utilizing his lower half, understanding that the lower half is the engine in his throw, is going to allow him to get momentum behind the baseball. Show that again. Shuffle, go. In all of our progressions during our throwing lines, okay, we want to make practice as fun and as efficient as possible. So what we do is we ask players that are receiving the ball to either work on their relay footwork or work on the tag. Go. Moving along in progression 3, we're going to finish off with our crow hop. In our crow hop, this is going to allow our athletes to understand that they really got to get some good legs behind their throw, okay? And in this drill here, we have our athlete face his target, okay? Once again, he's going to start with his left foot moving, and then he's going to rip through with the right, shoulder, hip, and ankle, and go. Now, for a righty, it's going to be left, right, left, and go. For a lefty, it's going to be right, left, right, and go. So I want Cam to demonstrate that one more time. He's going to face his target, okay? Left, he's going to rip through and go. As you can see, once again, his footwork allowed him to get that shoulder, that hip, and the ankle going to his target. Now the big rip through right with the right step allowed him to get momentum behind the baseball so that he can make a further throw. Left, rip and go. Left, rip and go. Once again, I can't stress to you guys how important the first 15 to 20 minutes of practice are when the kids are in their throwing lines getting ready to warm up for a game or practice, okay? Stay tuned for more videos. Click the subscribe button below, and we'll see you next time.